We bring you the lunch edition of MBC News with me, Hilda Ngomano. Our top stories. President Mutharika assures Malawians that his administration will not shield anyone involved in corrupt practices. Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development urges traditional leaders in the country to be servants of the people. And Malawi joins the global community in commemorating World Consumer Rights Day. Thanks for joining us. President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika has assured Malawians that his administration will not shield anyone involved in corruption. In a statement issued on Saturday, the president said he is closely monitoring the Public Accounts Committee's inquiry into the sale of Amaryllis Hotel and emphasized that the committee has his full support. President Mutharika has assured all Malawians of his administration's commitment to transparency, accountability, and the rule of law. In the statement, President Mutharika says that the fact that the inquiry is taking place is proof of his government's resolve to let oversight institutions work without interference. He has therefore reiterated his government's firm stance in the fight against corruption, saying his administration is not in office for a feast. According to the president, the public office is a sacred trust bestowed by the people of Malawi, and any misuse of public resources or influence for personal gain is a serious betrayal of that trust. Our reporter Trust Office has filed this report.
Since assuming power in September last year, President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika has implemented key measures aimed at preventing wastefulness and abuse of public funds in his administration. Among them is the introduction of austerity measures that reduced both international and local travel for all public officers, including members of his cabinet. Professor Mutharika has also repeatedly warned that his administration will not shield anyone involved in corruption, as highlighted in the State of the Nation address last month. President Mutharika's anti-corruption message also came up last Saturday when he commended the Parliamentary Public Accounts Committee for its efforts in probing the controversial 128 billion kwacha Amaryllis Hotel deal. Professor Mutharika reaffirmed his commitment to transparency and accountability through such public inquiries. The public inquiry into the sale of Amaryllis Hotel, which started on Tuesday last week, has brought several issues to light. Among them is that the hotel was pegged at 30 billion kwacha by FDH and 36 billion kwacha by Continental Asset Managers, while Nico Asset Managers was expected to facilitate the sale of the hotel at 47 billion kwacha. The previous board of the Public Service Pension Trust Fund, however, rejected the proposal to purchase the hotel at 47 billion kwacha because the investment was considered not viable. It was reported that it would take over 40 years for the fund to recover its investment. The hotel purchase deal was later revived by a principal officer at the pension fund who, acting on instructions from former secretary to the president and cabinet, Colin Zamba, pushed for a hotel purchase agreement. The agreement was then adopted by only 3 members of the 10 current board members of the Public Service Pension Trust Fund at 128 billion kwacha. This development raised suspicions because the valuer who pegged the hotel at 128 billion kwacha is not a registered entity and produced the valuation report on the same day it was contracted to carry out the valuation. Chairperson of the Parliamentary Public Accounts Committee, Stephen Malondera, has expressed hope that the committee will soon establish the truth on the matter.
Major impact is to protect the future of those people who are working in government and looking forward to having a pension at a given or scheduled time. So we're just trying to ensure that the people who are working don't get to be negatively impacted due to poor investment.
The public inquiry into the sale of Amaryllis Hotel is expected to continue on Monday morning and Wednesday this week, after which the committee will compile a report for presentation in Parliament. Trust Office, MBC News, Lilongwe.
Police at Kamuzu International Airport have arrested the former Director General of the Immigration Department, retired Brigadier General Charles Kalumo. According to Malawi Police spokesperson Lyle Chintembo, Kalumo was arrested at the airport upon arrival from South Africa. Chintembo says Kalumo has been arrested on allegations of abusing his office while serving as Director General of the Immigration Department. He speaks to our reporter Olive Piri.
We have arrested the former Immigration Chief Brigadier Charles Kalumolitaya on a charge of abuse of office and failure to comply with the Immigration Act. The alleged offense occurred in June 2023 while he was serving as Director General at the Department of Immigration and Citizenship Services.
When is he expected to appear in court?
He will appear in court soon. We just arrested him this afternoon, and we are currently recording caution statement.
Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Ben Piri, has asked traditional leaders in the country to be servants of the people. The minister was speaking during the elevation of Sub-Traditional Authority Horo to Traditional Authority Horo at a ceremony held at Nyezelira in Palombe district. He pointed out that like elected leaders, such as ministers, the traditional leaders are supposed to serve the people they lead. Our reporter Tumbiko Nyirongo has filed this report read by Elaine Chimoyo.
Speaking during the ceremony, the minister said chiefs must at all times serve the interests of the people they are serving. He also asked them to champion development in their respective areas. On education, Piri challenged traditional leaders to promote education among their subjects, saying an educated society is key to development. He then urged parents to utilize the free secondary education, which was introduced by the Democratic Progressive Party DPP-led demonstration.
Simple and straightforward, the president is asking them to be development conscious, to serve their people with all dedication and with dignity. No corruption, to make sure that beneficiaries that are supposed to benefit from whatever developmental activities are should be there. And that finally education must be improved in line with the policy of free education.
In her remarks, Lomwe Paramount Chief Kaduya ordered chiefs under her jurisdiction to fine any parent found keeping a child at home during school time. She also commended the president for putting the welfare of chiefs at heart.
The Scottish Government has committed additional financial resources to the Climate Just Communities project, which helps vulnerable communities withstand adverse effects of climate change. Project Director for CJC Malawi, Annie Brady, disclosed this in Zomba during the closing ceremony for the project. Charles Chindongo has a report read by Romeo Omali.
Brady told journalists in Zomba that the Scottish authorities, who are founders of the CJC project in all the 7 districts, have expressed dissatisfaction with the project, hence the approval of additional funding. Active since 2023, the project will conclude this year and operates in 7 districts, including Palombe, Majinga, Karonga, Chikwawa, Neno, and Salima. It mainly focuses on building resilience to climate change impacts through participatory and inclusive interventions, among others.
So the Scottish Government is going to fund a bridging year, which will start in April 2026. We're waiting to see who will be awarded the contract to deliver that. So they will do 1 more year programming, and then they are planning to do a longer year programme. But I do not work for the Scottish Government. I am an implementer working for DAI, but we think the signs are very promising, and DAI is really committing to continue to work in Malawi where we can.
Environmental Affairs Department Deputy Director Michael Magonambera hailed the project for its transformative impact.
Not necessarily learning, but a message. Okay. What we have seen here, I've already derived a message which I delivered. People who are coming to the communities, they should come with a full package. That's what we have seen here. Our communities are vulnerable, they are poor, they are faced with so many hazards and risks. So when somebody is coming to help them, let's bring complete package, not just meals. That meals will not help them. So bring the goats, bring the beekeeping, bring whatever, everything as one complete package, so that by the time you are getting out of that community, they are fully empowered and they can be sustained.
Available information indicates that close to 100,000 people have benefited from the initiative across the 7 districts. Initially, the Scottish Government funded the project with £8 million, approximately 16 billion waja.
Plan International Malawi has stressed the need to promote gender equality as a key driver of economic growth in the country. The organization's country director, Mwabe Mulumbi, made the remarks in Lilongwe during an intergenerational dialogue commemorating International Women's Day, organized in partnership with the Reserve Bank of Malawi. Madalitsa Muhango reports.
Mulumbi said while Malawi has made progress in promoting women's empowerment and leadership, some sectors still perceive women as incapable of holding top leadership positions. She said intergenerational dialogues create platforms for women to share experiences and challenges, helping young women realize their potential and to contribute meaningfully to national development.
There are cultural areas, like in terms of leadership in the communities, where in some cultures the traditional leaders would generally be men. But in certain spaces, like even what we're hearing in the Reserve Bank, at the highest levels of leadership, we are having almost equal. In Parliament, we still have a long way to go. In cabinet ministers, when you look at the ratios, etc. But I think for me, the important thing is that these are things that everybody is now being mindful about when we walk into a space, which should have a good, balance between who is there amongst men and female.
Meanwhile, chairperson of the Women Academy for Leadership and Political Excellence, Lingaleni Mihoa, emphasized the need to break social and cultural barriers that prevent women from attaining top leadership positions. She said addressing such challenges is crucial for the country to achieve its development aspirations.
There are many aspects that still look upon girls, and I think that tends to be also reinforced by the girls themselves because of what they've been taught. So I gave examples where young women are not supposed to speak up, girls are not supposed to speak up, but eventually you realize that when you go into the workplace, people are looking for leaders that can articulate their ideas. So you can imagine growing up for 20 years, people have been telling you that you can't speak as a girl, or if you give your opinion, then it's not worth it because you're a girl. And that's purely on the basis of stereotypes and cultural bias.
The commemoration brought together women leaders from Plan International Malawi, the Reserve Bank of Malawi, and female students from Lilongwe University of Agriculture and Natural Resources, Luana. The event was held under the theme, Give to Gain. Madalitso Muhango, MBC, Lilongwe.
You're watching MBC News with me, Hilda Ngomano. A reminder of our top stories. President Mutharika assures Malawians that his administration will not shield anyone involved in corrupt practices. Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development urges traditional leaders in the country to be servants of the people. Malawi joins the global community in commemorating World Consumer Rights Day. Welcome back. The Competitions and Fair Trading Commission has stressed the need to address grey areas in regulations regarding the safety and protection of consumers in the country as Malawi joins the global community in commemorating World Consumer Rights Day. The commemorations are being observed under the theme Safe Products, Confident Consumer. According to the Acting Chief Executive Officer for the Commission, Edward Joshua, the theme provides a vital platform to bridge regulatory gaps, uphold consistent safety standards, and empower citizens to identify the risks of unsafe products. CFTC spokesperson is Innocent Halema.
The theme aligns very well with global efforts to ensure that marketplace products remain safe, trustworthy, and reliable. What we have noted as Competition and Fair Trading Commission is that despite existing legal protection frameworks such as the Competition and Fair Trading Act of 2024 and the Consumer Protection Act of 2003, limited awareness remains a barrier to consumer justice in Malawi. The Commission continues to observe that There are two critical challenges, especially consumer hesitance in reporting, unfair trading practices, and of course supplier resistance during investigations. These issues stem largely from inadequate knowledge of rights and responsibilities. To mark the occasion, this year, the Competition and Fair Trading Commission, we have slightly changed in terms of our approach, in that this year we are targeting those that we believe are vulnerable consumers, those that live in rural areas.
Muslim students studying at Malawi College of Health Sciences, Lilongwe campus, have been encouraged to start using their knowledge and skills to serve communities in the country's health sector. The call was made by Muslim leaders from Mama Relief and Development during a special motivation and iftar gathering organized for the students as part of the holy month of Ramadan. We have this report.
Director of Nama Relief and Development, Abdul Hela, said Malawi continues to face significant challenges in the health sector, including shortage of trained health personnel. He therefore urged the students to use the knowledge they are acquiring to contribute meaningfully to improving healthcare services across the country.
My main message for them is to study hard and to look forward the future, to look the society, why they are suffering, what is the reason for suffering, and they have to give the hand to support, to share knowledge, even also, that medical field exactly is the most important field for every society, because this is our need nowadays.
One of the guest speakers at the event, Ibrahim Matola, encouraged the students to reflect on the spiritual significance of Ramadan and use the period to strengthen values of discipline, service, and compassion. Speaking on behalf of the students, Sharif Saidi described the iftar gathering as both inspiring and motivating, saying the advice shared by the leaders would encourage them to work hard and serve their communities with commitment and professionalism.
Here at Malawi College of Science, we have different programs. I encourage different students out there that they should really work hard, so that they should come here and pursue their studies, so that once they graduate here, they will be able to treat others outside there.
Nama Relief and Development is an Islamic humanitarian organization which focuses on empowering communities through education, health, and religious empowerment projects.
Malawi's battle against erratic weather and declining crop yields is gaining new momentum through the development of improved seed varieties that withstand climatic shocks. The International Crops Research Institute for the Semi-Arid Tropics, ICRISAT, in collaboration with the Department of Agricultural Research Services, have intensified research efforts that drive significant gains in achieving stronger seed systems. As Doreen Sonane reports, the Institute has since released more than 30 seed varieties for cereal and legume crops and eyes intensified research in modern seed breeding.
As climate change continues to threaten food production in Malawi like the rest of the Southern Africa, ICRISAT has intensified its research and innovation programs in developing crop varieties better suited to the country's dryland farming conditions. To date, the Research Institute has supported the release of over 35 improved crop varieties that include pigeon peas, sorghum, chickpea, finger millet, pale millet, and disease-tolerant groundnut varieties. ICRISAT country representative Sam Njoroge said for groundnuts alone, ICRISAT has supported the development of over 17 improved varieties, which are helping farmers increase yields, reduce production risks, and strengthen resilience against pests and diseases.
These are varieties that have better resistance to groundnut rosette, which is the most important disease, not just in Malawi, but also in Africa. Early leaf spot, late leaf spot, which are fungal diseases. And we've also worked strongly to improve our understanding and management of aflatoxin contamination.
ICRISAT is also working with farmers under contract arrangements to multiply improved seed varieties, particularly groundnuts and pigeon peas. Later, the seed is distributed through formal seed systems. One such farmer is Manzu Beda, Managing Director for Kakuyu Investments at Namitete in Lilongwe.
We are contracted by ICRISAT to multiply their breeder material. We've now had a partnership of 26 or 27 years with ICRISAT. And ICRISAT is a very, very important organization. They were formed to help raise the standard of agriculture for the smallholders.
Chief Agriculture Research Scientist at the Department of Agricultural Research Services, Justus Chintu, said the introduction of groundnut seed varieties marked a major milestone in efforts to strengthen groundnut production in Malawi and beyond.
For many years, maybe over 30 years, farmers in Malawi have been growing CG7. CG7, although it is a very famous variety, but it is susceptible to rosette. Even Charimbana is also very famous in Malawi, is commonly grown by farmers in Malawi, but it has a problem that is susceptible to rosette. And we have been able to come with a number of varieties like CG9, CG11 and CG12, which are very resistant to rosette disease. And these are currently being adopted by farmers, and we can say that this has been an achievement that has been a result of working on groundnut research for a number of years.
Evidence from agricultural programs under ICRISAT shows strong uptake of new improved groundnut varieties among farmers, with a 35% increase nationally and 62% in ICRISAT project areas. Beyond seed development, ICRISAT is also promoting the production of legume seed, strengthening agricultural markets and raising awareness on aflatoxin contamination, a major food safety threat affecting crops like groundnuts. More than 245,000 farming households have benefited from improved seed initiatives supported by ICRISAT and its partners, with over 14,500 metric tons of seed produced for distribution to farmers. Doreen Sonani, MBC News, Lilongwe.
The Parliamentary Committee on Health has pledged to lobby for the modernization of the Central Medical Stores Trust to establish a more resilient pharmaceutical supply chain. Committee Chairperson Anthony Masamba gave this assurance in Blantyre following the cluster's visit to assess regional medical stores operations. Charles Pensulo reports.
The Parliamentary Committee conducted the tour to, among others, strengthen oversight, improving understanding of the national medical supply chain, and supporting evidence-based advocacy for policies that enhance the availability and distribution of medicines and medical supplies in the country. During the tour, it was noted that the trust faces many challenges, ranging from old buildings to inadequate storage spaces for medical supplies. For instance, the facility in Blantyre is said to have been constructed in 1968, which is outdated and old-fashioned. This prompted Chairperson for the committee, Anthony Masamba, to call for support from development partners.
They need efforts from Ministry of Health, Ministry of Finance, including other donors which can come on board and support this institution. It is a crucial institution which is restoring medicines here, and medicines are essential for the lives of people, and that's why as a committee we are taking up this issue and we engage with relevant authorities.
In his remarks, Director of Finance and Administration for Central Medical Stores Trust, Vincent Chirinda, revealed that the trust is set to embark on the construction of the 24 billion kwacha modern medical warehouse in Lilongwe, as the trust has only secured 2 billion kwacha. He therefore called for support from the corporate world.
We are ready to start the project with 2 billion, then we'll go forward with the foundation. We have engaged several partners, including World Bank, Global Fund, so that they should help us to support or finance this. I'm glad to indicate that the Parliamentary Committee
on health has indicated to help us so that they facilitate the financing and the resource mobilization for the same.
The Central Medical Stores Trust has 3 regional medical stores warehouses based in Mzozo, Lilongwe and Blantyre. The Blantyre warehouse saves a significant portion of Malawi's health system and supplies medical equipment to 13 out of the 29 district health offices and 3 out of 5 central hospitals in the country. Charles Bensulo, MBC News, Blantyre.
Old Mutual Malawi has rewarded its top-performing employees in recognition of their outstanding performance in 2025. Speaking at the awards presentation ceremony in Mangochi, where 180 staff received awards in different categories, Old Mutual Malawi Managing Director Mark Migwamba said exceptional performance is an important part of the organization's culture because it helps motivate employees to give out their best. Dave Umar with a report.
According to Mikwamba, the initiative aims to enhance staff retention and reward employees who exceed their targets and deliver exceptional client service. He said Old Mutual Malawi has been running this program for several years because they believe it is important for employees to feel valued and appreciated for the work they do.
We want our customers to thrive. There are economic issues that we are facing, but as a brand, we have decided to say customers need to thrive financially, and therefore our staff are poised this year to help our customers to make good financial decisions so that they can continue to thrive. Whether they're employed or not employed, whether they have retired, we want all of our customers to thrive.
Among the awardees, Hussein Selemani, who won the Best Client Relationship Award, and Walumbe Chichirwa, who went home with Best New Sales Agent and Best New Financial Advisor Awards, hailed Old Mutual Management for the recognition, saying the experience is both motivating and inspiring.
I've managed to retain a business which is over 2 billion for the year 2025. So I'm very happy that I'm one of those that have been successful in retaining the business. While I'm also making myself happy, but I'm also proud that the employer is also happy that they have recognized my effort by giving me an award today.
I'm the eldest among the group, but I managed to give what my bosses wanted. But in short, everything is possible. When you trust yourself and believe in yourself, everyone can do it.
Old Mutual Malawi regularly rewards its top-performing staff to foster a culture of hard work and recognize outstanding contributions, particularly in sales and customer service. Early this year, 20 staff members were awarded international trips to Malaysia and Durban. Dave Umar, NBC News, Mangochi.
Well, that item wraps up this edition of NBC News. A reminder of our top stories. President Mutharika assures Malawians that his administration will not shield anyone involved in corrupt practices. Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development urges traditional leaders in the country to be servants of the people. And Malawi joins the global community in commemorating World Consumer Rights Day. For the latest news, follow our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You've been with me, Hilda Ngomano. Thanks for watching and goodbye.